Good morning, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. This is Dearly Departed. We are looking at the teams that have escaped the Championship on my watch, now plying their trade in the Premier League. So this show will be covering Leeds, Fulham, West Brom, Aston Villa and Sheffield United across the season with previews, reviews and watch-alongs. So we are up to game week number 3 in the Premier League. We're going to have a look at the dearly departed's games this weekend, and last weekend, or last game week indeed, gave us 2 dearly departed derbies, and would you Adam and Eve it, we've got another 2 dearly departed derbies this weekend, and the potential for a couple of watch-alongs as well on those. But before we start, we need to say thank you to Jay Coyle, who is a fan sponsor. Excuse me, keyboard's in the wrong place. Who's a fan sponsor of this show. Thank you so much, Jay. He says, dearly departed, also known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. And then a less than subtle picture of Helder Costa and a marching on together. But thank you, Jay. If you want to get involved as a fan sponsor, still a couple of recurring shows left and you can do so. Details at the end. Before we look at the fixtures, let's have a little look at the league table and how things stand at the moment. So our dearly departed champions at the moment are Aston Villa. Although they've only played one game there, you can see them up in 9th. A game and a 1-0 win. So a positive goal difference. They're tied on points though, if you look just one place below with Leeds, who have played 2, and with the 2 crazy scorelines, have just a neutral goal difference there. And then, annoyingly for us dearly departed fans, a whole load of 0 points down the bottom, because there just hasn't been any draws in the Premier League this season. You're either winning or you're losing. So sadly, the rest of our dearly departed have been losing. There is Sheffield United in 17th, Fulham in 18th, and West Brom propping up the bottom of the table already with a -6 goal difference. Not good. Come on, the dearly departed, I say. Who have we got this weekend? Well, first up, ignore the top 2 fixtures there. We have got West Brom facing Chelsea on Saturday night at 5:30 there. Bilic versus Lampard in that one. I wonder if their paths crossed at West Ham. Someone let me know in the comments. Then, a big one there. Look at that. Sunday lunchtime, Sheffield United versus Leeds United. Wilder versus Bielsa. Those games were superb in the Championship, weren't they? Brilliant stuff. So we'll look at that on Sunday lunchtime, and that will be a watch-along as well. Just need to sort out some a method of getting BT Sport in on that TV. Don't worry, I'll get it done. Fulham play Villa then on the Monday night, 5:45. That will also be a watch-along. Bit easier for me. That one is on Sky. So West Brom versus Chelsea first. Tricky one for West Brom. Bottom of the league, conceding goals. Not yet finished the recruitment, we don't think. We've been talking about a striker forever and a day going in there. So it is very much the squad or the first 11 that got promoted. Callum Robinson is there full time now. He was on a loan. Dean Garner and Pereira are full time. They were on a loan. So it's tricky for Bilic, in comparison with the other 2 sides who seem to have done a little bit more in terms of the recruitment and upgrading. Not that that is everything, but first 2 games, well, the big home defeat against Leicester. The Baggies fans I spoke to about the Everton game did draw my attention to the big mitigating factor of Kieran Gibbs getting red carded. My counter argument to that was that the 2 goals West Brom scored were fantastic, but were worldies, and it's not sustainable to score worldies in every game. I know that is annoying to hear, obviously, but it's true. And remember, I don't have a dog in the fight on any of these. I'm behind all of the dearly departed, but there's no support clouding my reason on any of this, put it that way. This just looks difficult, doesn't it? Chelsea have really gone for it a bit, old school Roman Abramovich with Werner and Havertz and Thiago. They've bought in and they've spent out on players to add to already a pretty decent season. Last season, I think it's going to be difficult, Baggies fans. Let's hope they keep 11 on the pitch. Let's hope that the big chance conceded count is low. Let's hope that they can get Pereira and Diangana close to Callum Robinson if indeed he stays up there. And let's hope as well they can just get Bilic 1 or 2 in before October the 5th, that he can bolt onto what he had last season, because very much you spoke about Villa last season, literally having to spend to even just replace what they had in the Championship, and that's fine doing it the loan way with Diangana and Pereira, but what that does mean is that you have to spend to even just reach last year's level, and then more so to add on, and then you get all the accusations of you blowing all your TV money when it's not really the case, is it? So look, good luck to West Brom in this one, but I could see another 0 here. I think they're going to struggle to keep Chelsea out, so they're probably going to have to score 1 or 2 goals to get anything from this game. We are off to the Sheffield United Leeds game now. As I said, the Yorkshire derby, I think we'll remember, fans of both teams will remember in 18-19, 2 away wins. Big Dean Henderson mistake and Pablo Hernandez getting the winner. And then I was there at this one, the fabled Basham arriving just before that international break, and big moment and another home game in that run-in that Leeds didn't get anything from when they really, really needed to. Anyway, that's all water under the bridge now, both in the Premier League, and Leeds closer to Sheffield United's position from last season than Sheffield United are closer to that position. Again, more so with John Egan's red card than Kieran Gibbs' red card for West Brom. Big mitigating factor in that defeat against Villa. John Egan was sent off. Look, we've dealt with it. I believe you can argue it one way or the other. So be respectful of other people's opinion. When a refereeing decision is subjective, you can't go on here and say that's a red card all day long or that was never a red. It's just not respectful of other people's opinions, and it's just not. You can't debate something subjective by just saying, "Oh, this is definitely the case." Doesn't work like that. Doesn't automatically not make it subjective and make you right. So you can argue the Egan red card either way. Let's not bother, because you can go and do that in the review video from last time. But big mitigating factor, wasn't it, in the defeat against Villa? And they missed a penalty. They should have got something out of that game, really. Shouldn't they? Obviously, maybe Villa come stronger if they do score the penalty. But you take my point. They created more big chances in that game than Villa did, strangely. So read into that what you will. So maybe not so much to worry about with Sheffield United's 0 points as with Fulham's 0 points and West Brom's 0 points. But need to get some soon. I'm assuming Egan only got 1 game, because that wasn't serious foul play or violent conduct, was it? It was denial of a goal scoring opportunity. And did Sheffield United play in the League Cup? I don't recall. Basically, I don't know whether Egan's suspended or not. Look, if they played in the League Cup, he's probably not suspended, in which case he'll play. If not, Ampadu will play in centre back. Interested to see if Norwood returns. He didn't start in the last game. Otherwise, it's just strikers. And of particular interest to Leeds fans especially would be the fact that Wilder always plays 2 up top, and sometimes Bielsa pulls Calvin Phillips right back almost as a third guy in the middle to cope with when the opposition play with a front 2. So that will inform things. Maybe Wilder will try and screw with Bielsa and name 2 and then drop one of them right back. Well, we'll see. A lot of people have tried to get in his head with things like that before. But perhaps you might see McBurney in. I'm not sure where Mousse is for one of those 2 guys. Although Burke played pretty well considering he was a lone striker in a 10-man system. And McGoldrick got sacrificed, as you can see there, on 31 minutes to, sort of retool after Blades were figuring out what they were going to do with 10 men. So that's the size of it for Sheffield United. And before we do Leeds, this is Diego Llorente there, who has signed this week. He's another centre-back, 27 years old. Started at Real Madrid, 15-16 at Rayo Vallecano. Called up as a Spanish international there. Real Sociedad then took him 2017. 88 appearances over the last 3 seasons. 8 goals. That's decent, isn't it, for a centre-half? Last out, he came in 11 days ago. He's got 5 international caps. And he'll wear the number 14, if that means anything to anybody. So, the answer to Cooper and White last season is now you have Cooper, Koch, and Llorente. So, it'd be very interesting to see how this one plays out with those 3 players for these 2 positions. The fee is undisclosed. That is the Leeds United website calling it undisclosed. So, as usual with these things, I will say, feel free if you think you know the fee, but please put your source in. Don't pull it out of thin air if you do. So Llorente is in the mix now. Again, be respectful of other opinions. A good source would be Marcelo Bielsa on this one, but I don't know whether he's going to start or not, whether he's going to be on the bench. As we don't know, again, it's not helpful putting he will definitely start or he will definitely be on the bench. We don't know. It's all speculation. Otherwise, like I say, I think rather than there actually being 3 centre-backs, I mean, look, he could do... so Phillips goes actually into midfield next to Klitsch and Rodrigo goes out. One of the other... So all 3 of the centre-halves play and one of them is encouraged to move forward. I would more suspect he would just, say to Calvin Phillips, look, your starting position is 8 metres further back throughout this game. But while we have the ball, you move into your normal midfield position. So we'll see what Bielsa does with that. The only other question then is Pablo Hernandez or Rodrigo. So it just depends on Hernandez fitness. Perhaps Rodrigo starts and like at the end of last season when Hernandez was coming back from injury, it worked really, really well for Leeds to just put him on the bench and let him come on and do his magic after the game was a bit stretched and some people were, maybe a bit tired and worn down. I must make a quick plea to Leeds fans. Please remember when you're commenting that this is not a Leeds fan channel. Okay? It's not my responsibility on here to be pro Leeds. Now, I love covering Leeds. It's a superb club with just incredibly dedicated and fanatical fan base. But please, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to be balanced. And where there are positives, I will identify them. Where there are negatives, I will identify them. If you've conceded 7 goals in your first game, that is a negative, okay? And then, so it's not my job. If it was a Leeds fan channel, I would come on here and I would say, oh, there's been 3 penalties. Oh, none of them were penalties. The FA hates Leeds. Everyone hates Leeds. We should have 0 goals against us, right? I'm exaggerating, of course. That's not my remit. My remit is to try and be balanced and analytical here. And in the politest possible way, if that's going to be a struggle, there are some brilliant Leeds fan channels who will just say nice things about Leeds the whole time. I can't do that. I can't be intellectually dishonest with myself. So here's my take on the first 2 Leeds games, and it is perfectly reasonable to argue this either way. And if you have a Leeds badge as your Twitter or YouTube avatar, and you only ever say pro-Leeds things, perhaps have a think about the credibility of your views if they're all in one direction. I'm trying to see the whole spectrum of views here. So my read on the first 2 games is there are a lot of positives. Bamford has scored twice. Costa has scored twice. Klitsch has scored twice. Harrison has scored twice. Rodrigo's been integrated. However, the finishing numbers are really, really good. Often when teams outperform the actual underlying numbers, one of 2 things happens. Either the numbers come up and reflect performance, so they start to actually create more chances and it aligns, or they start to score slightly less. Now, it's okay for us to assume that 7 goals in the first 2 games and such outstanding finishing may not sustain, okay? Calm. It's okay. Don't worry. 5 goals in 2 games would be grand, wouldn't it? So perhaps there's an argument that might happen. And also at the back, I know everyone's very keen to be very pro Robin Koch. Yes, he's probably unlucky for that penalty, isn't he, where it hits his leg and hits his arm. However, let's just be honest about the one with Joe Bryan. Come on, he throws himself in. Joe Bryan waits for the hit and goes down. He's got done. It was silly. Come on, he left himself out there. So I'm sure Koch will not concede a penalty in every game as we go through the season, but we can't sit here and ignore the fact that 7 goals have also been conceded. Yes, there's been 3 penalties, but I've had some really good chats with some Leeds fans about this. Some argue, both things will improve, or both things will regress to the mean, i.e. they'll create some more chances, the finishing will maybe drop off a little bit, but they'll still score goals. You would think a Bielsa team would score goals, wouldn't you? And the defence will also improve. You know, the new players and everything will sort of shake out. So I've had some really reasonable chats with Leeds fans. I've had some less reasonable, more fanatical chats with Leeds fans. Oh, Ben, we've had all these penalties given against us, and how dare you say that we're finishing really well? We're brilliant. Our players are brilliant. Of course we scored 7 goals. We should have scored 9 goals. Look, calm, chill. It's difficult to tell at the moment. It's been very easy to read Leeds the last 2 seasons. They've had more possession, more passes, more shots, more big chances in virtually every game they played under Bielsa. It was very easy to look at the metrics and very quickly, without even watching them play, you could have looked at the metrics and came to a pretty reasonable conclusion that they were way better than all of the other teams in the Championship, which they were in the main. Now the numbers are a little bit more confusing. So we're looking at the eye test. We've got 2 games worth of evidence and we're looking at the numbers. It's hard to draw a real strong conclusion yet, but please let me say, and look, I'm not saying anyone's not entitled to their opinion. Everybody is, and I do encourage it, but just remember it's not my job to be pro Leeds, and we're all trying to figure out how this is going to shake out, and we don't know. We don't have crystal balls. Hey, they could keep scoring at a rate of 3 or 4 per game, and the defence stops, and wow, then you're looking at the top 6. They could keep conceding at the high rate, and the finishing stops, and wow, a lot of defeats come. We don't know. Okay, so that's all I just wanted to say to you guys. And I'll reiterate, I absolutely love covering Leeds. The fanaticism is probably the best thing about it, actually. The passion and how people get involved, and the number of Leeds fans I've got watching. But just please help me out in the comments here. It's not my job to come on and say the FA hates Leeds, none of the penalties should be given. All the Leeds players are brilliant, so I shouldn't question that the finishing will drop off and Leeds will win every game 4-0. I'm not going to do that. I'm just never, ever going to do that, because it would be nonsense, wouldn't it? So just work with me in the comments is all I'm saying. And again, I'll reiterate, I absolutely love covering Leeds. So let's just try and balance out the debate. And I think we're all just a little bit confused about the first two games and how it could shape out and the differing arguments for either way. Anyway, I think I've done enough on that, and I will close talking about Leeds by saying, oh God, I need to make a prediction on this game, don't I? It's a very, very difficult one to call, isn't it? Look, let's just say perhaps this will be by far the lowest scoring game so far of Leeds season. We'll close with that one. I really can't call it, and I really can't call the starting 11 because I don't know how fit Llorente or Hernandez actually is. So that would be the two changes. Did I do that okay? Did I do okay? Get your comments in as always. Free speech. Just don't insult anybody. Free speech, but there's no need to be insulting, is there? If those two things don't contradict. Right. Fulham play Villa on Monday night, and we're going to cover that one. Yes, we'll do a watch along of Sheffield United and Leeds as well. So we'll be covering Fulham and Villa. It's been a bad start for Fulham down at the bottom of the table, and lots of goals conceded. So look, we'll try and pick out some positives because they're one of our dearly departed, but there are negatives as well that we can't ignore. Areola seems to have taken Ruddock's shirt. Scott Parker seems to be trying to find a defensive solution here. I didn't expect it to be that, the two centre-halves and a double pivot to be Hector Odoi, Reed and Anguissa. I would have expected Reeve in there and Kenny, but that already seems to be changing. You can see both players on the bench. Mitrovic in and scoring 2 goals. That's really good news for Fulham. And then there's other options there in terms of Bobby Reed. Ivan Cavaliero's in, Knockout, Cabana. So there's options in the 3 off the front. If I'm a Fulham fan, I want to start to see this settle down and, figure out actually what the first 11's going to be. But the goals against is a worry. And where we're looking at Leeds and, maybe there's a couple of dodgy penalties in there, and we're looking at West Brom and they've shipped 5 with red cards and conceded 2 penalties. There isn't necessarily that with Fulham, is there? I know Fulham had a penalty given against them. Did they in the Arsenal game? I can't remember. But it feels a little bit more like we can make excuses for some of the other teams, but less so Fulham. Let me know what you think in the comments about that, if they're going to continue to be that open. Villa, it's an interesting one. It's a difficult one to read as well, isn't it? Because they played one game, they've won it, but there was a red card that it could have been argued either way, like 10 or 12 minutes into the game. So what I will say is I don't see that lineup changing very much. I think that they will now try and stick with that as best they can, injuries permitting, and that doesn't look too far from what Dean Smith will want as his, real settled lineup. I suppose I'm seeing that at Leeds, Sheffield United. There's more room to rotate. I'm not seeing that at Fulham, and I think I am seeing that at West Brom. But maybe they want to strengthen somewhat. So that bodes well for Villa, and the fact that they didn't lose Grealish bodes well for Villa. But I've only got 90 minutes to go on, but I didn't see anything yet, and this team could really improve nicely in that Sheffield United game to say, Villa are going to be great this season. That was a nice, comfortable win. It wasn't, was it? It was a hard-fought win against a stubborn 10-man Sheffield United. So, again, it's a tricky one to read with such a small sample size. Can they shut Fulham out? They've got every chance of scoring against Fulham, haven't they? It's just if they can Shut, Mitrovic, and then whoever he picks, Knockaert, Cavaliero, Reed, Onuma, all of those are Camera players who can play off the front. So again, another difficult one to call, and it all depends on whether Villa can pull off the clean sheet and stop the big chances going Fulham's way, doesn't it? So maybe I'll plead the fifth on that one, and we will have a look during the watch along on Monday night. Come and join us for that. So there is our dearly departed previews for game week 3. Very interesting. I'm having trouble getting a specific read, and of course it's after 2 games on a couple of the teams so far, and the more specific read I am getting on some of them, I don't really want to have, because it looks like it shakes out for a low point scoring season, which look, I'm saying I'm being balanced here, but you know, there are dearly departed from the Championship. I don't want to see teams losing week after week, but hey, it's hard for promoted teams, isn't it? Really, really, really hard. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember, I know you're all supporters of these 5 teams if you're watching this, but I'm trying to be, like I said, the plea goes out to everyone. That wasn't a shot at Leeds fans specifically, but Leeds among the teams where you do get that big level of fanaticism, and sometimes some comments may not be too balanced, let's just say. But it wasn't a shot by any means. It's not unique to that club. It's football fans in general, isn't it? But there we go. I always say the emotion is the best thing about football, but it also makes it the hardest to actually have a conversation about it when the emotion kicks in, doesn't it? Anyway, please like this video. Get involved in the comments. If I'm having a hard time reading this, then I need your help. So let me know from a West Brom point of view. Can you come out of this bad start? And am I wrong about only scoring worldies so far and that being unsustainable, etc.? How big a effect was the red card? If for Gibbs, if you are a Sheffield United fan, are you worried about the start in Wilder you trust? How quickly will this turn round? How big of a pass can we give because of the red card for Egan in the previous game? If you're a Leeds fan, again, I'm confused. How's it gonna shake out? Is everything both sides gonna regress to the mean goal scores, goals conceded? In which case, Leeds will be fine if they both drop at the same rate. They should have a winning season, shouldn't they? What do you think? Be balanced. And if you are a Fulham fan, how worried are you? Of all the teams here, have Fulham had the least excuses in their games? And finally, if you're a Villa fan, really, really good start. Not a lot to go on so far, but how are you feeling? Join the Fantasy League there, T5QBR0. Listen to all these shows on podcast. Support financially, trying to make a living out of this. We're doing our best here, but we need your help here. Amazon.co.uk/shop/the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Go and buy any of the items on there. Give us a little kickback. There is Patreon over there. $3 tier is sort of a donation and a kind of help for the channel. For $5, you get some of your own content exclusive down there. Some other perks we're trying to build up as we go. But really appreciate people's help and people's patience as we figure out as we go what the big revenue streams or the biggest revenue streams are going to be and try and make this viable as a business. With that being said, you can be a sponsor, a fan sponsor, or a business sponsor, and you can sponsor the entire channel. And one more shout out for our fan sponsor there, Jay Coyle, dearly departed, also known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. Marching on together, he says. Right, thank you everybody for watching. Get your comments in. Interesting state at the moment with our 5, isn't it? It could go any way, I think, for each of the clubs, improving or not so much improving. So let's see how that pans out. Get your comments in on that, and come and join us for the watch-alongs if you fancy a Championship one we do in Huddersfield Forest. If I'm not at a game tomorrow, we'll do Wycombe Swans. Then on Sunday we will do Blades Leeds. And then on Monday, we will do Fulham Villa. Can't speak. So come and join us. I'm coming up 30 minutes on this video, so I'm going to shut up and get it uploaded and then wait for your comments to come in and read them all. Hopefully they're nice. Thank you for watching. Over and out.